This conference will now be recorded.
Yeah, see how we are doing testing here. So anyway, in testing phase, we are doing testing, right? So then let's see how we'll do testing. See, so any organization, so let's say, so whenever the client having some idea, some business idea, let's say, so you got some business idea, you want to start a e-commerce application. So obviously you will approach to a company or any software organization so to implement your application, right? So you will give your thoughts and your ideas to, so in that organization BA will gather your requirements, and based on your requirement your application is going to start, right? So that your application come across these phases: requirement phase, analysis phase, right, and designing phase, coding phase, testing phase, and delivery and maintenance, right? So in any organization we majorly we have a three environments. So we have a three environments, right? So the first environment we are saying is developer environment, nothing but application we are developing in this environment, right? And then we are saying as QA environment, nothing but testing environment. Here what we are doing, we are testing the application here, right? And then we have a production environment, nothing but live environment. Let's say I can say live environment. Let's say this is a production environment. Clear? So what we are doing in developer environment, we are developing application, and in what we are doing in QA environment, we are testing the application, and the production environment people are accessing the application. See, then how we are doing testing. So let's say your application got completed. Let's consider this is your application. So your application got completed in developer environment. So whenever the application completes in your developer environment, so this is your application. Let's consider this is your application. So this application is delivered to the QA people, right? And the QA people now they'll receive your application.
Yeah.
This is your application. Then you have to test your application based on the developer implementation and the client requirement. First of all, you have to understand the client requirement, and after understanding client requirement, after the developing your application, you will receive the build or a software that you have to test that software. Then how you going to test your application, right? As a tester, how you will going to proceed, how you are going to test this application. So to test your application, you have to prepare test cases, right? Then, so here, what is a test case?
You don't
So
have
test
to.
case, so test case is nothing but it's typically contain a test steps, right?
Mhm.
So it's typically contain test steps and test steps and it typically contain test data
Okay.
and expected result and actual result, right? So usually in some organizations they are maintaining a test management tools. So we have a test management tools in market. So like Jira, QC, and there are some tools called ALM. Even we can track bug also, and we can prepare test cases by using these tools. And most of the cases, in any small organization, they'll maintain test cases in Excel sheet.
Okay.
Okay, so as a manual tester, you have to prepare your test cases in an Excel sheet or any automation. Sorry, any test management tools like Jira, QLM. There are some tools, right? So we'll see how to prepare test cases in Excel sheet, right? So in any organization, most of the cases, 90% the template is same, whether it may be test management tool or a Excel sheet, right? So let me
Yeah.
prepare a template. This is my test template. See, let's say, so already I told you, right, in requirement phase, a BA will gather requirements. So whenever BA gather requirements, he will prepare one document. What the document we are calling? BRS document, business requirement specification. So he will prepare a document. So after preparing document, usually he will share the document to managers and testers also. So after receiving the BRS document, and we have to go through the requirement. So based on the BRS document, we can able to understand what the client is expecting here, right?
Okay.
So already we discussed yesterday, like you have an idea like e-commerce application, you want to sell your own flowers in a site, right?
Yeah.
So you have to give some requirements, like I have some page, I should have some page, and I should have some text box, a search box for searching of flowers, right? I should have some cart functionality, then user able to add your products to cart and then deliver to your location, right? So these are
Yeah.
the main functionality. Let's say first requirement is, so let's say first requirement already we discussed about, user should have a one search box here. So let's say I'm saying here, that is a requirement 001,
Okay.
right? So for that requirement, you have to prepare your test cases.
Yeah.
Okay? So let's consider this is your requirement. So what here I'm saying here I am giving a requirement ID. So for every client requirement, people usually track one ID,
Yeah.
right? So let's say consider this is my requirement ID. So for this requirement, I am starting my test cases. Let's consider this is a test case ID.
Okay.
So this is one column. So what is the actual use of this requirement ID? To track a client requirement.
Okay.
Yes. So to track client requirement, here we are giving requirement ID, right?
Yeah.
And then test case ID. So why test case ID? To track, to maintain unique test cases. So we are giving a unique number to our test case. Let's say, so my one of my test case is test case 001. This is my test case 001. And let's, after that we are giving a description. Let's
Okay.
and before that, if any precondition, we have to give the precondition also. So I'll tell you the precondition later, what is the precondition. And let's, next one is description.
Okay.
So this description tells about what is your test case.
Okay.
So let's consider, so the requirement one is, so user should have a one search box in a home page, right? This is
Yeah.
description tells about your test case. So what is your test case contain and what you are going to verify? This is your description. Let's consider, so I should have the requirement should was nothing but user should have a one search box in home page. So I can give a description like verify user able to see a search box in home page. Clear? This is the description of my test case. So here come to the precondition. To verify this condition, to verify your search box in your home page, what are the precondition, what are the pre-setups you have to do?
Okay.
Those are all comes under precondition. Let's consider, so my application has to run. So whenever the developers implement or developing the application, that application has to available in your environment. Let's consider, already I told you, right? So there are majorly three environments. developer environment, QA environment, production environment. See, you have to test in your application in your environment. They'll give
Yeah.
you one URL. They'll give you one URL. That URL contains basically, let's say, so already we discussed right yesterday. Our application is www.myflowers.com. Right? This is your application. So for this application, so they'll give you one URL like a port number like 108 colon 555 colon 102, like this they'll give.
Okay.
And remember, you don't have a URL like www.myflowers.com. So by the time of implementing, by the time of developing application, they'll simply give you a port number.
Okay.
Let's consider they'll give you port number like this. So you have to enter this port number in browser. So you have to start your testing. Nothing but you have to execute your test cases, right?
Okay.
This is a precondition. Let's consider one of the precondition is application available in QA environment. Clear? Application is available in QA environment. And what is my description? Verify user able to see a search box in home page.
Yeah.
And to execute this test case, what are the data you are supplying? That is comes under test data.
Okay.
Right? So what the data you are supplying here? So typically, first of all, you will supply URL, right? So let's consider my URL is, as of now I'm giving live URL www dot, and moreover remember you have to give fully qualified URL https colon slash slash www dot myflowers.com. So you have to give a fully qualified URL, right?
Yeah.
And then expected data based on your understanding, based on your client requirement, BRS document. So what you are expecting, what actually client expecting from this requirement 001, that is you have to track here, expected data. So what you are expecting a search box
Page.
in home page. So whenever you launch application, so you have to see a search box in home page, right? And then actual result. Sorry, this is expected result, and this is actual result. Clear, ma'am? So
Yeah.
requirement 001, for that requirement, by understanding BRS document, by understanding client requirement, you have to prepare your own test cases. So either in Excel sheet or any test management tool, right? So for tracking purpose, to maintain unique, we have to give a test case ID for your each and every test case, right? Like this, you will have a test case ID 001, 002, like this. You have to maintain.
Okay.
Clear? And then precondition. What is the precondition to execute this test case?
Yeah.
So application should be available in your environment, and sometimes application has to up and load, and sometimes you have to log in as a admin credentials.
Yeah.
They'll provide credentials like admin and agent. They'll have some separate logins for based on the application type, right? So they'll give you precondition, no problem. Right? And then description. So what is this test case describing about? So verify user able to see the search box, and this will give you the entire what you are going to test by using this test case.
Okay.
And test data. So what the data you have to supply for this test case. Let's consider one of the test data is URL. Let's say if any login is there for to execute your test case, here you have to provide username
Awesome.
and password. Clear?
Yeah.
So that is about test template. And so why we have to write test cases? Any idea?
No idea. Sorry.
Good, no problem. So let's consider the first one thing. Let's consider to implement a module to implement your search functionality. So developer has taken let's say 1 month time.
Okay.
So they are taken 1 month to implement. So 10 requirements. So client given a requirement, right? So they have taken 1 month to implement 10 requirement or any number of requirements. See, so after the implementation of a module or any functionality, they will give you to in a QA environment. Yes or
Okay.
no?
Yeah.
Now you have application implemented by developers, understanding by client requirement. Now you have to start the testing.
Okay.
Now you received a build. Remember, so people are calling it build or module or application. All are referring same only.
Okay.
Now you received a build. You have to proceed your testing. See, people are taken, developers are taken 1 month. So after the completion of 1 month, they are given application to you to test that application. Now you have completed within a 1 day.
Okay.
If you say, boss, to your manager or any superior, boss, I have completed my testing,
But,
they will realize that. So for this application, so developer has taken 1 month, but tester has taken 1 day. But they don't believe by your words, right? So you have to show some proof to them.
yeah.
Yes. So the first use of test case is it's give you a proof. Here you can give. Here actual result, when you will give this actual result, when you will give this actual result after the completion of your testing only, you will give this actual result. Yes or
Yeah.
no? So see, so by the time of implementation of your application, developers parallelly you have to prepare your test cases. You should not wait for a application. See, initially this month is taken by developers. So what you will do in this month? Simply
Yeah.
you should not sit.
Okay.
You should not sit ideally. You have to prepare your test cases. You have to keep busy with prepare your test cases to that particular requirements.
Okay.
See, so whenever you received a BRS document, developer start the development application, and people tester has to start the writing test cases.
Okay.
This is the actual process. So based on understanding your requirement, you have prepared a few test cases. So after receiving the bill, you have to execute your test cases.
Okay.
This is the actual process. So by the time of execution, then here you have to fill your expected result.
Okay.
Sorry, actual result. Anyway, you will write expected result by the time of test case preparation. But after execution, you have to give your actual result. Now see, you have received bill. After receiving bill, you have opened your URL, right? So after opening URL, so you have to search for search box. Let's consider this is your application. You open this application, then you're able to see here search box. And now fill this one as my test case is pass. I can able to see search box, right? So here you're filling as actual result, able to see search box. Here you have to give your status of test case is Let's say this is pass. Clear?
Yeah, clear.
So first of all, to track your test cases, to show your accountability.
Okay.
So if anyone, if manager or any superior, if they ask, so simply you can show your test cases. So this is my test case. I have executed this one. This is the description. This is the test data I have provided, and this is my expected result. And this is actual result after executing my test case. And this is the status of that particular test case. Okay.
Okay.
So this is about the typically the test template contains. So already you know requirement ID, test case ID. We are giving a precondition. So any precondition to execute this test case, and then description about the test case and test data, the data we are providing for that test case, and expected result. So what the client is expecting from this requirement.
Okay.
This comes under expected result. Actual result. Actual result coming from where?
Expected result. Come.
Actual result. Actual result coming from where? Actual result coming from the application.
Okay.
So after receiving build, you have to fill by the time of testing. You have to fill this actual result. If you are unable to see this, if you are unable to see this search box, then here you have to fill
Fail.
not able to see
Test bug.
search box, right? Here not able to see search box. Hence this is failing here. Let's consider my test case is failing. Clear?
Yeah, clear.
And moreover, let's comes the second one. So the second valid point to why we have to write test cases. So let's consider. So you have joined in an organization in middle of the project.
Okay.
Let's say 3 months back the project is started and the implementation it's middle of the implementation or middle of the project. Now you have joined, right? So
Yeah.
so let's consider the previous testers uh, not prepare the test cases.
Okay.
Now you receive the bill. What you have to do here?
Precondition.
Either again you have to start writing for test cases, or else you have to test your application without having the test cases.
Okay.
And let's consider one more scenario. Let's consider one more scenario. See, so you have written the test cases and now you left the organization. And after you lefting organization, one new person came in your position.
Okay.
Now the people are saying that after releasing this build, people are saying please just test this application. Now, what that new guy is going to do? He will open your test cases and understanding the requirement, and so he will read the precondition and description. He will provide test
Data.
data what you have given in test data field, and he will
Accepted.
imagine expected result, and he will verify the actual result, and he will give the status
Yeah.
without knowing a functionality, without knowing any application functionality. Easily anyone can track or anyone can execute these test cases.
Okay.
Yes or no?
Yes.
Right? So that is one more advantage. Clear?
Yeah, clear.
And remember, sometimes even we don't have a requirement document also,
Okay.
right? Simply orally, the people are saying that this is that type of application I want. Let's consider I don't give any requirement. I'll say like I need an application like Amazon.
Okay.
So based on oral communication, you have to prepare your test cases.
Okay.
Simply, man, it's all about understanding.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
So what are the main advantage of test cases? First of all, we can track the requirements, and we can track the test case ID, and we can show accountability,
Okay.
and
Yes, sir.
it's easy to track any new person came and any new person left the organization. We can track the testing procedure.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
As of now, any doubts?
No doubts. Let's go.
Good.
Yeah.
That's about the test template. Excuse me. So I'll send this template. Just try to prepare at least 10 test cases.
Okay.
Let's consider you can give your own requirement.
Okay.
So try to prepare test cases to Amazon.
Okay.
Like verify user able to see this search box, verify user able to see the menu option, right? So verify user able to log into this application, right? So whenever user provide test data, here the test data here the test data is username and password.
Awesome.
Clear? And verify user able to add a product to cart. So after adding a product, so let's say I'm adding one product. See, after adding product, after adding product, it should be show in a cart. See, so I'm adding this product to cart. Now my cart number is 1.
Okay.
So try to habituate to write the test cases.
Okay.
So these test cases we are going to convert test script in automation. So first the process is first manual people prepare the test cases, and the test case we are connecting to test scripts.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's what about the test case and test template.
Okay.
Right. For sure, try to write minimum test cases. Then you will get to know. So what are these requirement and test case ID, precondition, description, test data, expected result, and actual result.
Okay.
Clear?
Yeah, clear.
And next, we have a levels of testing. See, any application. So any application. So let's consider one application is going development in one organization. So that application is come across some levels of testing.
Okay.
So that levels of testing people are divided into majorly 4 levels.
Okay.
Okay. Right. The first one is unit testing,
Okay.
and second one is integration testing,
Okay.
and third one is system testing, and fourth one is user as acceptance testing.
Okay.
Right. So as I told you earlier, so in any organization, so typically it may contain 3 to 4 environments.
Okay.
Let's consider in my organization I have a 3 environments. One is developer environment, QA
Wait.
environment, and production environment. So what the developers do in this environment?
They are developing product like.
Exactly, they will develop application. So
Yeah.
what the QA people will do? They'll test the application,
It's the application. Yeah.
right? See, what is meant by unit testing here? So first of all, so unit testing. First of all, let's say first of all we should know what is a unit
Yes.
in a software language. So unit nothing but, so I can say it's a piece of code.
Okay.
Let's consider, so based on client requirement, a developer implement one piece of code.
Okay.
So let's consider one piece of code, so implemented by a developer here.
Okay.
So after implementation, so directly will they give it to QA to test? Actually, it's not. After the developer implementation, directly he won't give it to QA. Before
Okay.
give it to QA, before give it to testers, before deliver it to tester, developers also verify the functionality. Developers also verify whether that piece of code is working fine or not.
Yeah. Yeah.
First of all, initially they will verify.
Yeah.
That is we are calling as unit testing.
Okay.
Unit nothing but it is a piece of code implemented by developer, right? So unit testing in some sense. So so after implementation a piece of code, so developer himself he has to verify that the piece of code is working fine or not.
Yeah.
That is we are calling as unit testing.
Okay.
How this is unit testing is going forward, right? So this unit testing is done by unit testing framework. In market, we have a unit testing framework, or else people are saying as or tools, unit testing tools.
Okay.
Unit testing tools like we have a famous unit testing frameworks in market. So first one is TestNG and JUnit.
Okay.
TestNG, JUnit, and NUnit. These are the kinds of,
Interesting.
so these are the unit testing framework used by developers. This is the powerful unit testing framework. So based on this unit testing framework, the developer is going to test their piece of codes.
Okay.
Then how they will going to do this one? By writing test cases.
Okay.
Sorry. So how he is going to do unit testing? By writing test cases. See, so not only testers, developer also here writing the test cases. But it is not in Excel sheet, but it is not a script. It is not a general language. So this is done by scripting only. They'll write again code for this one,
Okay.
right? So initially they will implement application, they'll develop the application by using code, and then to verify that piece of code, again they'll also write a test cases by scripting, by taking the help of testing tools, unit testing framework like TestNG, JUnit, and NUnit. Clear?
Yeah. Clear.
So any doubts?
Yeah. No doubt.
No doubt, right? And let's go further. Integration testing. So what is it, integration testing here? See, so the developers implement one build. Let's consider this is my application. So typically, so the functionality or requirement, so they'll segregate based on their flexibility by the time of project implementation. Let's consider this is one of the functionality.
Okay.
Let's consider whenever the user log into application, this is one functionality. This is a search functionality, right?
Yeah.
And this is a login functionality. This is a login functionality. And let's consider this is a cart functionality. Or else here people are saying as functionality or a module.
Okay.
Okay, so developers implement a application by a modules or a functionality.
Okay.
Let's consider, see, consider for one application, so all our three developers are working. Let's consider developer 01, developer
Go to
2nd, and developer 3. Let's consider for this application 3 developers are working, and these 3 developers, how they will going to combine their code?
test case.
So they're going to combine their code. They're merging the code by using some tools. Again, here also we are using some tools to merge their code. But
Okay.
after merging code, again they have to verify whether the code is working fine or not.
Yeah.
See, each and every developer implementing a special code. See, this is developer 1 code, this is developer 2 code, this is developer 3 code.
Yeah.
After this one, they have to merge this code to one
Two.
module or else one functional. This is one a big module. This is
Okay.
module 1, this is module 2, this is module 3. Now you got a combination of all modules. This is the combination of 3 modules. Here,
Yeah.
right? So this is the combination of 3 modules, and again the developer has to verify where after combining, after merging the 3 developers code, whether the application is working fine or not. Let's consider developer implemented one developer implemented search functionality, one developer implemented login functionality, one more developer implemented a cart functionality. Now after merging this search functionality, cart functionality, and login functionality, these 3 modules together has to work.
Yeah.
That again has to verify by developers only.
Okay.
Yes. So what do we do? So again, they have to verify after merging code. To verify the code after merging,
Good.
right? And then how they are going to do? Again, they will execute these unit test cases after merging this code.
Okay.
To merge this code, there are a few scenarios, there are a few process they'll follow. Here, the first one is top-down approach.
Okay.
This is approach by the time of merging their code. The next one is bottom-up approach. Top-down approach, bottom-up approach. Top-down nothing but merging parent module to child module. Let's consider this is one module, so combine to child module, combine to child module.
Okay.
This is a top-down approach.
Yes.
So this is a parent module. The parent module adding to child module.
Okay.
This is people are calling a top-down approach.
Okay.
If you are doing reverse, adding child modules to parent module, this is we are calling as bottom-up approach.
Okay.
Merge by the time of merging, usually they follow the process. The process we are calling as either top-down or bottom approach. And one more thing we are calling as one more thing, big bang approach. Big bang approach. Merging all the modules at a time.
Okay.
This is the people are adding module to module. So first module to second module to third module, fourth module, either from top down or bottom up. Right? So or else
Big bang.
big bang approach. Big bang approach means adding all the modules at a time, single time. Right? So
Okay.
here let's consider first developer taken 10 days.
Okay.
Second developer also taken 10 days. Third developer is on leave on 10 days. He has taken 20 days.
Okay.
Now the third module is missing, right? Here. So obviously, in this scenario, we have to go for either top-down approach or bottom-up approach. But here, the big bang approach will support. No, right? So I want to merge this entire code on a 10th day.
Okay.
Now, This time my module 1, right? My module my module 1 is already ready. My module 2 already ready, but my module 3 is
Not ready.
not ready because of resources on holiday.
Yeah.
This is on leave. So whenever I'll get this module 3, up to that particular point of time, I have to wait to merge this entire
Malik.
module in Big Bang approach. That is the drawback of Big Bang approach. Then that's why the people are following either top-down approach or bottom-up approach.
Okay.
They'll link up module to module, either top to down or bottom to top.
Okay.
That's what about the integration testing. So
Okay.
both unit testing and integration testing done by
Integration testing.
both integration testing and unit testing done by developers only.
Okay.
So this is done by developers and occurring in which environment?
Developer.
Developing environment.
Okay.
Clear?
Yeah.
And coming to excuse me, system testing. System testing is nothing but it's a functional testing executing sorry, verifying all functionality is working fine or not is nothing but system testing, right? So verifying all functionality, this is done by
System testing.
this is done by testers here. This is done in which environment?
Develop.
Testing environment.
Testing.
Testers do testing in testing environment,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
So we'll discuss later about in detail about system testing because we are into testing profile, right? So we have to discuss each and everything about system testing, right? And coming to user acceptance testing. So user acceptance testing nothing but now let's consider your application implementation completed and your
Peer testing.
QA testing also completed. Now you are giving this application to client.
Okay.
Now your project is going to be complete within a few days.
Okay.
So by the time before the completion of your project, and again the client who has given the application to you or your organization, so again he has to verify, right?
Yeah.
He has to verify whether the application is reaching
Working or
his
not.
whether first of all whether the application is reaching his requirements or not.
Okay.
He has to verify. See, let's consider first requirement he has given search box. If it is not containing search box, then how he can satisfy,
Yeah.
right? So first of all, he has to verify whether the application is implemented by his requirement, and now it is working fine or not.
Yeah.
Anyway, so they implemented a search box. Now it is search box is not working. So after entering the data in search box, now it is not working. Then what he will feel? Obviously
Feel
he'll
bad.
feel bad, right? So
Yeah.
now after the implementation of application, again he has to verify whether all the requirements are implemented or not, whether the application is matching to his requirement, and now all functionality is working fine or not. Let's consider. So after entering data here, let's say, so here you entered a flowers. Now it is not showing flowers. Obviously it is a bug.
Yeah.
Yes or no? So
Yeah.
for that he has to verify. User also, sorry, client also verify whether the application is working fine or not. That is comes under user acceptance testing.
Okay.
Okay, so this comes again, this is segregated to alpha testing and beta testing. So I'm not going to discuss about what is alpha and beta. Typically it is a user acceptance testing.
Okay.
So who will do this one?
User. Client.
Either client, or we can say it as end users also. See,
Okay.
let's consider I am a developer. I have implemented the application. I
Okay.
tested this application is working fine in my environment.
Okay.
After that, as a QA, you are also tested your application in QA environment also it is working fine.
Yeah.
There is no guarantee that any application is working fine in developer environment and QA environment. It has to work on live environment. There is no guarantee. Sometimes it is the application also we can identify bugs in live environment.
Okay.
Okay, some issues also identified by either client and end users. End user
Yes.
nothing but the people who are using the application in live environment. So
Okay.
this is my let's consider this is Amazon, right? We are using daily Amazon. So we
Yeah.
are a end users.
Yeah.
So we can also find some of bugs in some applications. As I
Yeah.
told earlier, Swiggy,
Yeah.
we can identify some bugs because the most of the things is so that type of bugs identify those types of bugs occurring by because of environments, because
Okay.
of setup. So let's say I identify the application in my Windows machine.
Okay.
Now you are identify some bugs in Mac machine.
Okay.
Nothing but it is the environment to environment, some of the functionality is not working fine.
Yeah.
So that's where in testing there is a category like compatibility testing.
Yeah. Okay.
So here we have to do testing in
Testing.
multiple platforms and even in multiple browsers also. Let's say so I have opened application in Chrome browser. In Chrome browser this application is working fine. Let's
Yeah.
say one of the client is not having the Chrome browser. Here he has IE browser or Internet Explorer browser. Here he identified bugs in IE browser.
Okay.
Okay, now again what you have to consider, you have to consider we have to cover your test case in multiple browsers, and we have to cover and test our test case in multiple platforms, Windows, Mac, Linux, right? And we have to cover multiple browsers. Okay. Clear? And sometimes we have to do application testing in even mobile also. Let's consider this Amazon is working fine in Windows environment, and sometimes people may identify issues in mobiles. In mobile also we can open the application browser, right? So sometimes so people may face issues with in mobile browsers also. Even we have to cover here testing in mobile also. You have to execute your test cases in mobile also. Clear, ma'am? So that is about levels of testing. So typically what we have the levels, we have a unit testing, integration testing, system testing, and user acceptance testing. So what is meant by unit testing? First of all, unit is nothing but it's a piece of code implemented by developers by understanding client requirement.
Okay.
So after the implementation, he has to verify whether the piece of code is working fine or not. To verify, so he has some testing tools, unit testing tools like TestNG, JUnit, and NUnit. By
Yeah.
the help of the unit testing framework, he'll going to script the test cases. Developers also write the test cases, but just not like our test cases. He'll going to skip the test cases by using code, right? After the piece of the code implementation done, he'll execute the test cases, and
Okay.
he'll get to know the functionality is working fine or not. That is about unit testing. And then integration testing. Integration nothing but merging the modules, merging the functionality code functionalities implemented by developers.
Okay.
So this integration, we have some process like top-down approach, bottom-up approach, Big Bang approach,
Okay.
right? So after the integration also, again, they have to verify after the merging the code, after the functionalities merging, all the functionalities are working fine or not. Let's consider, see, the people are implemented different functionalities, search functionality, cart functionality, login functionality.
Yeah.
After merging that, there is no guarantee all the modules are working fine or not. Fine. So sometimes let's consider in this application the three modules, login module and search module, cart module. After merging, one of the functionality is login not working.
Yeah. Test.
Again, they'll go back and they have to verify where it is lacking.
Okay.
Clear? And system testing. System testing nothing but verifying the functionality end to end. The functionality we are calling as system testing. System test done by testers only.
Okay.
Okay, and again we'll discuss in detail what is the system testing, and there are some strategies we have to apply, and we have to apply some levels here. We'll discuss in detail what is about system testing, and then user acceptance testing. What is meant by user? So what are the client, what are the end users, what are the users using this application in end live environment? That is we are calling as user acceptance testing.
Okay.
Sometimes clients also find the bugs, sometimes end users also find the bugs.
Okay.
Okay, that is about levels of testing. And before that, we discuss about test template.
Okay.
Test template typically contain the requirement ID, requirement ID, test case ID, precondition, description, test data, expected result, and actual result. And after the execution, you have to give the status.
Oh, yeah.
Clear?
Yeah, clear.
And see, this first one, unit testing and integration, people are saying as unit and integration. People are saying as white box testing.
Okay.
White box nothing but here who is doing this testing, unit and integration? It is done by developers because they know the code, they know
Yeah.
the implementation code. That's why people are calling as white box testing.
Okay.
Either unit testing and integrated testing, combinedly calling as white box testing. White box in the sense they know the implementation logic, they know the code. That is why we are calling as white box testing. And second one is black box testing.
Okay.
Black box in the sense, sorry, black box testing. So as a QA, as a client, as a end user, here they don't bother about the implementation code.
Okay.
They only verify whether the functionality is working fine or not. Either QA, either client, either end user.
Yeah.
Right? Who will do this black box testing? Either QA team or clients or end users.
Users.
They don't bother about the implementation code.
Okay.
Even they don't know the code, implementation code.
Yeah.
Right? So without knowing implementation, without knowing internal logic,
Okay.
people are involving testing, right?
Okay.
What is a white box here? With knowing internal logic, with knowing internal functionality. That is we are calling as white box testing. By knowing internal logic or internal code here.
Cool.
That is we are calling as white box testing, and then black box testing.
Okay.
Clear?
Okay.
So please let me know any doubts.
Okay.
Go through this document. I'll send this document once, and along with a recorded video.
Yeah. Okay.
And this template also. please try to write minimum test cases, minimum
Okay.
10 test cases. Okay.
Okay.
Please open any application as you wish. Open Amazon application. So try to fill this each and
Okay.
every field,
Okay.
whether it may be right or wrong. Please try to fill at least minimum 10.
Okay.
More than 10, it's your wish, but minimum 10. Please send me end of the day or before tomorrow class.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.